Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Amanda and let's do life together. I'm sorry this video was late. I had a busy day yesterday and then I just lost track of time today and I completely forgot about doing it. So we're gonna film and we're gonna upload today. I know that's not usually ideal, but you know what? We're a low budget YouTube channel and we're gonna make do with what we have. So bear with me here. I wanted to start a series on here called Book Talk. Not Book Talk like from TikTok, Book Talk. Where I just kind of like discuss like my favorite like standalone books or like book series that I'm reading and just kind of give like my 2 cents on the books and just kind of, share something that I enjoy doing because I consider myself an avid reader. I like to dabble in a book from time to time. So I wanted to start off with my favorite book series and then just kind of go along as continue making these as long as you guys enjoy them. So you might think that my favorite book series is Harry Potter, which yes, I do enjoy Harry Potter, but that's not my favorite book series, okay? In all honesty, if I'm being honest, Harry Potter is kind of unbearable in the books, and I don't really like him that much in the books. Like, to me, I just feel like he has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. And he's kind of not that great. But one book series that I am a fan of is right here, The Hunger Games. I love these books so much with all of my heart. For those of you that don't know what The Hunger Games is, let me give you a little backstory, okay? So buckle up, grab some tea or some coffee, grab your pet cat if you have one. If you don't, get off my channel. I'm just kidding, we love all pets here. But the premise of The Hunger Games is there were previously 13 districts, and one capital. And one day, District 13 decided to, start a war against the capital and basically like rebel against them. And then the capital just completely wiped them off the face of the earth. So as punishment for the remaining 12 districts, the capital created something called the Hunger Games, where in each of the 12 districts, they offer up one boy and one girl to fight to the death in a game called the Hunger Games. Kind of as like a testament of power to the capital. It's just like, hey, you wanted to rebel? Not today. We're gonna take one boy and one girl from each district and they're gonna fight to the death until there's one victor left. And the story goes along with a girl named Katniss Everdeen, the first 3 books. It starts with her time in the Hunger Games all the way to the fall of the capital and, Presidents Snow and Coin themselves, because both of them are pretty despicable in the 3rd book, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, President Snow was always the worst. And if you read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the first, kind of prequel book, it gives a little bit of insight into President Snow and why he turned out the way that he did. So that's kind of like the premise of The Hunger Games. Now, why I like this book series so much is because it has a very strong female lead. Katniss fights for her family. She comes from the poorest district, which is District 12. And they literally have like no money, no good resources, nothing. And their main resource for the capital that they produce is coal, like coal mining. So they really don't, and they don't go into the coal mines until they're like 18. So they really have like no skill when it comes to the Hunger Games. And if you win the Hunger Games, you can get like a new house, a house in a place called the Victor's Village, where you have money, you have food, you have like better clothing, you have like all these new resources. So Katniss is trying to not only fight for herself, but to also like make sure she comes home for her family so she can provide a better life for them. And then as it goes on, she cares for Peeta, the male tribute of the Hunger Games that she won the first Hunger Games with. Spoiler alert for those that haven't read. I'm sorry, you can click off this channel. And, you know, they start to form a bond and a relationship together. And she starts to grow and care for Peeta and make sure that he's protected and safe from the Hunger Games as well. And it just kind of goes along with her life, and by the third book, she's known as the Mockingjay, which is a symbol of the rebellion, and her goal is to take down President Snow at the end. So she's literally fighting for every district to have their freedom, because in a way, it's kind of, I don't know if this is the right word, but the capital is kind of like a dictatorship, and President Snow is the dictator who kind of establishes that the other districts have no rules, and if they break rules, severe punishment comes. So she's trying to fight for the rebellion against President Snow, so that way the districts can finally have freedom from the Hunger Games and freedom from war and freedom from President Snow and President Coin. And, you know, Katniss fights for the good of other people. She doesn't do it just for herself. She fights so that other people can live. And that's one of the main reasons why I like the book so much. Another reason, this kind of doesn't have to do, I mean, it kind of does have to do with the books, but also not really. But if you watch the movies are tied very closely with the books. They stay very, like, accurate and consistent to, you know, the books. For the most part, you know, they do change some things here and there for, you know, purposes, or they think it works better. But for the most part, the movies and the books stay completely consistent with each other. They don't leave out too many big details. And that's another reason why I love the book series so much, and the movies as well. For example, like in Harry Potter, in the 6th book, Voldemort has an entire history. You know, we learn his family, his mother, his father, his time at Hogwarts, how he became Voldemort, learning like about the Horcruxes and what he wanted to, like, him discovering what Horcruxes are. We have like a whole backstory filled with Voldemort, who is the main villain of Harry Potter. And in the movie, they give us none of that. They only give us like 2 minutes of, you know, Voldemort's backstory in the 6th movie, and they just completely wipe it out. But they don't do that here with the Hunger Games. They make sure that everything in the movies, in the books, are consistent with each other. So that way they make sure nothing is left out. They're telling the story exactly as it is, and they go from there. And I just love Suzanne Collins, like, writing and books, because they're not, if you can, as you look here, they're not very heavy books. They're not really long. Like, some books that I've seen are like this fat and this wide, and it can get kind of hard to get through, because the books are so long. But these ones are pretty easy reads. You know, you can get through these pretty fast. Like, if you want to read it in a day, or, you know, maybe a couple days to read this, you can, because they're not that long of books. So it's just an easy, quick pick up read, and there you go. Like, you read through the whole Hunger Games, and that's the story of Katniss Everdeen. And I just love how relatable Katniss is too, because she's just a normal girl. She doesn't really care too much about, like, vanity, or, like, she's kind of awkward. And I feel that way too. I can be kind of awkward sometimes, so I can relate to Katniss with her awkwardness. And she just, you really feel for her in the books and what she's fighting for and what she stands for. You can just really, you can get attached to these characters very well. I will say, as the book series go on and you get attached to some characters, beware. Because something happens to some of your favorite characters in these books and it will destroy your life forever. It destroyed mine. So, yeah, that's a little bit about my favorite book series and why I love The Hunger Games so much. You know, these are definitely my favorite books, and I'm rereading them because there is a new book coming out in the point of view of Haymitch's time in The Hunger Games. That every 25 years they have a quarter quell where like they have a little twist to The Hunger Games every 25 years or so, and he was in the 50th Hunger Games. So now we get to take a look at Haymitch's life and what he went through in the Hunger Games, and that's why I'm rereading these books, so that way like I can get kind of a feel for, you know, the Hunger Games lore again, and just get prepared for Sunrise of the Reaping, which I'm really excited for. It's coming out soon and I can't wait. So yeah, that's a little bit, that's about it for today's video. If you like this and you want me to continue doing more on a series like this, I will. But in the meantime, make sure you click the little subscribe button and click the little bell icon to be notified every time I upload a new video. And again, if you like this, I'll keep doing it. I try to keep things different every so often, but yeah, that's about it. So till next time, I will see you next week. Have a good life.